let's do your other cabinet here. Okay, let's I guess we'll go from top to bottom. What do we have in that upper shelf?
So this is Alocasia polycorms that were dormant over winter, and now I'm trying to activate them again. It's a little baby philodendron ilsamani. But it's a baby. It's a baby. It's so little.
Oh jeez. Yeah,
you can't even tell what it is.
I can't tell what it is. You can like literally say that it's like you can tell me it's a few types of philodendrons. I would probably believe you at this point, you know.
It was sold to me as an ilsamani. We'll see.
Right.
But it was sold to me from a very reputable seller, so
I mean,
I'm sure it is.
I would not buy something like this unless it were from a reputable seller.
I actually got it from her last summer, and it should be 5 times as big, but the reason why it's not is because ilsamani roots are really finicky, and basically they continually like melt off, regrow, melt off, regrow. This is the healthiest with the biggest leaves since I've received it.
This is one of, like, I have very few wish list plants, and this is like one of them.
Really?
Yeah, I have very few. I have probably 3. But is that from Florida?
This seller is in Seattle.
Oh, Seattle.
Yeah.
Probably that one.
What are your other 2?
The philodendron polypoides.
Ooh, okay. The really cool leaves,
The one with the fingery leaves.
Yeah, the really thin finger leaves.
And I forgot what my other one was. Probably like a Patriciae, which isn't like that crazy.
But it's nice.
Rare. But it's, I like it. So you have a couple of begonias.
It has some begonias here that I had to cut because begonias are very hard for me. They're probably the hardest genus for me, and right now out of my collection, like I don't collect syngoniums or Hoya.
Yeah.
But I haven't figured out the best conditions for my begonias that would make them happy.
Ooh. There's like a pinky.
I don't know what it's called.
Pink silvery one, more pinky ones. Okay, what are these?
That is a variegated jade Scindapsus. I really like Scindapsus. I collect Scindapsus, so I have several. I think it's a variegated jade one.
There's so many. Oh my goodness. Like Scindapsus, and it's like, I'm glad they're so popular, but I cannot tell one from another.
This is a sport variegated Monstera.
Very nice. Well, that's nice. What is it? It's in a jar? Is it in Substrate?
It's in moss.
Oh, it's in moss.
It's in moss.
Oh, whoa, yeah. Look at that. That looks really nice.
It's got noodly roots. Yeah. I should probably put it into soil soon so that it gets some more nutrients.
Yeah, basically all your containers are clear, so you can see where the progression of the roots are. So so it seems like a lot of your plants, when you're propagating or rehabbing, they're in moss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, moss is my go-to for rehabbing and rooting. A lot of people swear by other substrates. I'm venturing out and I'm trying pond, and I'm also trying rock wool.
Okay. So explain to me what pond and rock wool are.
Well, here's something that's in pond. Okay. Pond is an alternative soil substrate of mixture of like
rocks?
pumice and lava rocks and some other things. Okay. Because you can DIY it yourself and you can mix it together, but this is by the brand Lechuza, and because they already have nutrients inside the pond, so you can treat it like soil where you can top water, or you can do a semi-hydro where it has a reservoir at the bottom. Oh, okay. Oh, like a nutrient-filled perlite kind of. Yeah, I think so. Okay. I think so, and then you don't have to worry for the first 6 months about adding or supplementing any nutrients. But then after that, you do, and I don't know what to do then. This is one of the reasons why I don't do Leco, because I can't figure out semi-hydro nutrients. Is Rockwell the sponge? Yeah, well, it's when it's dry, it looks like wall insulation, like cottony things, and then when you wet it, then it's really dense. It's like a little cube. I think it's used a lot in the cannabis industry. I had never heard of it before, but one of my friends swears by it for rooting, like unrooted cuttings and things like that, and he's he's right. It roots really well for certain plants, especially like philodendrons, like an unrooted cutting. You just cut it and stick it in there, and it roots really fast.
Yeah, I think it's hard to go wrong when you're getting any recommendations from cannabis growers.
Yes, they are pretty much like the leaders in the industry for how to grow really well.
I agree, because they are financially vested, right?
So here are all my alocasias, and some of them are rehab because I either overwater or underwater. This is a scalprum, alocasia scalprum.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm in. I'm in with that.
Do you collect alocasias? Because you remember when you asked me like where do alocasias fall?
Right. I would say I am backing off from alocasias. I love them. Like, I mean, there's a few that I like. I like the dragons. I like the black velvet or whatever. But they just don't. They're just one of those plants that they're not for me or for my environment, you know. But I absolutely love them. Is this the green? This is the green dragon, or
this one or this one?
That one.
This one is yes.
I think so.
Or dragon scale. I think this was dragon scale.
Right. I think that's like the green dragon scale.
Yep.
And I assume it's going to be darker. Oh, here. Oh.
That's a nebula. Sorry, I'm thinking. Yes.
I think so.
Nebula. I've heard it like Nebula Imperialis or just Nebula. I'm not sure if they're two separate or if the names go together.
Do you do something with your alocasias that's different from your philodendrons or your monsteras?
I experimented with keeping them in either like just moss substrate only or soil or very dense peat moss. They pretty much all did the same. There wasn't one that was very specifically better than the other. And then a lot of them are unhappy right now because of that nutrient issue that I mentioned. I think like they initially got really, really big and happy with what I was watering with them originally, and then as they got bigger, they needed more nutrients, and they were lacking that, and they got really sad.
Yeah, I think mine are sadder.
Wait, do you have any kind of enclosures for like your high humidity plants?
Nope. Mine are survival of the fittest.
Yeah. A lot of people go with that, and I admire that, because if it doesn't work and you have to put way more effort into getting specialty stuff for them, then it's a lot of effort.
I think that when you're not doing an enclosure environment, you just have to have different expectations, right? Like, I am not expecting my plants to grow that fast, or that large, or that well, and that's the sacrifice I am okay with for my own comfort and my own sanity, and how I plant. So let me see. You have the two big things sticking out from here. Is this a dark wide?
It's
just regular.
It's the NSC Tropicals hybrid seedling that Enid sells, which is a dark crossed with green form.
Okay. Oh. And that's the narrow.
This is dark and narrow, yeah.
Dark and narrow. Okay, so you have a varicosum.
I struggle with varicosums.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess we all struggle with something.
I struggle with multiple plants. Like, I mean, there's like, look at this yellowing marmoratum, I think it is. I forgot what this one was. I need to label it.
This is the lupium?
Lupinum.
Lupinum.
Yeah, philodendron lupinum.
You have a good one. Normally the ones I see are just like super tiny and...
Well, I finally gave it a pull, and like I mentioned how I keep forgetting to give my plants pulls. I look at that poor varicosum back there.
Yeah, that varicosum might need a pull.
My husband.
I really like this. I really like this pull.
Yeah.
It's let me see. What kind of pull is this?
Well, my husband made it. It's a 3D printed moss pull, and he made it for me because I was so bad about giving my plants pulls, and buying ones that are out there on the market, or making my own, like the self-watering. There's a lot of tutorials about self-watering moss pulls. And my husband's a maker, and he designs a lot of things to be made on a 3D printer. Yeah. And he designed and made a modular moss pull for me, so I could continually add onto it as the plant grows, versus like a set PVC pull where you may or may not be able to increase it, or it's already really long and it takes up a lot of space.
Oh, all right. So this is a it's like a twist, right?
Yeah,
so
it's modular.
So there's like two segments there.
Yeah, it's similar to this. Here's a black one.
Oh, okay.
And so there's a stake that goes into the pot for stability.
Okay.
And we're playing with another design to help stability with even larger plants.
Okay.
Like with the majestic and the splendid that you said you really liked a lot. Like they get really tall, and we're worried about like tipping over.
Right.
Because I've already had some of them fall over and break plants.
Yeah.
So my husband's just trying to work on an anchor design that will like go into the bottom of the plant and give it a lot of stability.
Right. That would, like, I mean, if you imagine that at the bottom of the plant with like tons of soil, I guess it would also depend on the sort of pot, but this would be something that you would get when you know you have like a larger plant in a larger pot, I guess.
Yeah, he can, and he can make them in different sizes, especially to pretty much standard nursery pots. So he's really excited. He's been designing a lot of modular 3D printed like solutions for houseplant hobbyists like me.
Oh, can you see this?
Yeah, and then
That's
so you can twist it.
All right. Oh, here we go. Oh, so you twist there, and then you sort of twist
There's
there.
3 different sections. This is the stake, and then each pole segment is like 8 inches long, and it's modular, so you can just like keep.
I'm like feeling it. Feels really good.
You can't break it.
You can't crush it, right?
You can easily.
But your plant will not.
Yeah.
It's still sturdy enough. For your plant to get the support it needs. What I really like about it is the airiness. Right, like there's the holes are very, they're very large, so you got a lot of airiness in here there where the roots can really go in. Sometimes you see these moss poles that, there's the plastic parts are thicker. If that makes sense, they're thicker, so the holes in between are not as large, but it looks good. I would have to say though that if I had a choice, I would get a white one.
Yeah, he's making 3 different colors: white, brown, like beige, like moss colored, and black.
I mean, this looks. It's funny because every single time I see a moss pole and I'm like, dang, that's a classy moss pole. It's weird to imagine a moss pole being classy, But I mean, look at that. It's like your white pot, your white moss pole. It's very aesthetically pleasing. It's very functional, and it's practical, right? Very practical. You can add more to it, and yeah.
Yeah, it's actually so popular in my local plant group because originally I wasn't sure like if anybody would be interested, and I kind of gauged some interest, and it was so popular that my husband and I are gonna start like a very small company for 3D printed modular plant solutions for hobbyists like us.
Cool, yeah.
Because there's always like some needs that that we have as hobbyists, like for moss pole that's modular, aesthetically pleasing,
but stable too.
And
Stability,
stable.
Right.
He's trying to the next step is to try to design one that might be self-watering.
Oh, this is very interesting. Yeah.
He also designed larger ones, so ones that are larger in diameter and like beefier for large plants. And then like here's another one of his designs. It's like a propagation lid for a jar.
Oh, fair, okay.
Yeah. This is just a prototype, so it's not great, but I'm just using it already. One of the things that he designed was that so let's say all these begonias cuttings are grown, and if you're lazy like me, you forget to take it out, and then there's a lot of roots, and then it gets stuck in the hole. Like, how do you remove it? Right. Well, he designed it so that these come off and they separate from each other.
Oh, very.
So that way you don't ruin any of the roots.
Oh, they come in different.
They come off. Yeah, like that.
Very cool.
Yeah. So this is just a prototype. It's not perfect yet.
Right.
But as soon as he made the prototype, I was like, I'm going to use it. Oops.
Right. Okay, so prototypes. Prototype problems.
This is me testing things out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will test it out and tell him what needs to be improved because he doesn't know the plant side, but he's the engineer maker side.
Right. And you're this is what I need.
Yes.
I don't know how to make it happen.
Yes.
So that's
I told
great.
him, I'm like, I don't know. Oh yeah, sorry. Are we done down here?
I think so. Yeah, I think those.